So the first of those student success goals really centered around the continued implementation and revision of procedures, district and school procedures in relation to promoting positive student outcomes, so school climate and culture.
Yeah, and that's really important to set the stage for learning. Students have to be in an environment that promotes learning, and they have to be ready and present for learning. So one of our goals for this year was to focus on attendance, and it's something we've been focusing on actually for the last few years. This summer, though, we did a deeper dive. We looked at a lot of the research. We revised our procedures in attendance to more closely align with the state. And so then in August, we presented that to the public. It was myself, Mr. Ranella, and our head nurses. We presented a lot of the research that shows how closely aligned student attendance is with student achievement, and we talked about the changes to the policy. And you'll see it's linked there. Oops, where'd it go? I clicked on it to it, yeah. So this, like Ms. Morales said, this presentation is going to be on the website, so you can, if you missed that presentation on attendance and you want to go back and see it, you can just click the link through this presentation. Got that word. Okay. Beyond the changes and the revisions and the tiered interventions that all our principals and building administrators are carrying out, some of our principals have actually set their administrator goals on attendance, and they are doing things beyond the district-wide initiatives. So Mr. Ferry, the principal of New Monmouth, and Mr. Leone, the principal of Nutswamp, are going to talk about some of the things that they've been doing this year to promote positive student attendance.
Okay, so part of attendance isn't just being there every day, it's also being there on time every day. And Mr. Leone and I had similar issues with our buildings last year with regards to tardiness. It was something that we wanted to target and try to show improvement upon. So if you look at the slide, we both purchased the sign that we put out in front of the school, and the sign might not seem like a big deal, but the sign definitely works. So we put the sign out, thank the parents for getting their children in on time. And when they aren't in on time, we flip the sign over at 8:55 when the bell rings, and we say, oops, you're late, your child must be signed in by a parent. And that has been a bit of a deterrent. Parents don't want to get out of the car in the morning, so they are getting the children into school on time. So I had the PTA purchase the sign for me. I then did a presentation with the PTA about getting children to school on time, because if they're missing instruction time in the beginning part of the day, it sets them back for the rest of the day. Not to mention, in their schedule, they're missing the same thing over and over and over again, so they're missing the same class. So it's language arts or it's math or whatever it is, they're constantly behind. Once we brought this to their attention, parents really kind of grabbed onto this, and all of our staff comes in at 8:55. And as you can see, once we set the new expectation that they had to be signed in at New Monmouth, if you look at our tardiness last year from September, December, and then this year from September, December, we went down 18.2%. The amount of targets that we've had so far. So it's definitely working, and it's something that our community is embracing.
So over that's one similar. We've had similar results. We've been full blasting and reminding everybody that the doors do close at 8:55, and we do turn the sign around. My security out there literally flips it around at 8:55 when he hears the bell. And last year we had almost 1,500 lates. We had, to be exact, 1,499 lates to school, and so far we're down 13.4%. The letter, which we mentioned here in the slide, sending a letter and then calling the parents for a face-to-face has been very effective in speeding up the process in the building. And for everybody, that what's most important out of this is if we're reducing by 18% at New Monmouth and almost 13.5% at Nutswamp, those children are present for the delivery of instruction that they weren't last year, and that's the biggest part of the whole thing. Ms. Lindsay Fox.
So at the high school level, we're looking at the tiered intervention system here. We're looking at reducing the chronic absenteeism, the absenteeism rates, bringing that down, and also reducing the tardies between the two high schools using this system that was developed over this past year. So the students are met with, depending upon if it's a semester course, if it is a full year course, and this letter identifies to the parents that is sent home when this assistant principals are meeting with the students. So at particular benchmarks, the assistant principals are calling parents, meeting with the students, and then The next level would be, we have focus groups at that tiered intervention system where the students are recommended and referred over to the guidance department. From there, we are looking at the students' grades, their attendance, and then providing any support systems necessary in order to help the students, get to school on time and making sure that they are on time. From there, in the communication with the parents, we're able to identify and provide the parents support systems as well to help their children get to school. Sometimes, they aren't even aware of our attendance policy. We do put it out there for everybody to see. And when we do send our letters home, it is on the back of every single letter. So there's constant communication that we have between the attendance office, the guidance department, and if necessary, CSTA.
As a segue to this, the Middletown High School North was invited to participate in a pilot program, and it's called PASS, and you can see what the acronym stands for. What's interesting about this program, when I met with the two facilitators, is that they didn't just begin their meeting with the students by saying, why aren't you coming to school? They asked them, what are your dreams, goals, and aspirations for the future? And with that, the student would comment, well, I think I'd like to be a nurse, or I'd like to be a carpenter or a police officer. And then they would talk to them, the two facilitators, so what do you think you need to do in order to reach that intended goal as a career path? Well, I have to get a good education, I got to get accepted into college. Great, so this is what we need you to do. You need to come to school. That was the first session, and they're doing vision boards with the students. Yesterday, they also met for a second time, and they focused it on their needs, their concerns. Has anybody experienced any anxieties? Is there any family problems that you'd like to talk about? So they did something with worry dolls, where they had to write something down that bothers them, and then through discussions, they were able to get them to communicate and to express their feelings. Because the idea is they're trying to build a good self-esteem, self-confidence, and meeting the daily struggles of being an adolescent and trying to be successful in school with a lot of the distractions and things that they have to face. They've already had 2 sessions. I've also spoken to some of the students outside of the program, and they just feel this sense of connection. They feel that someone's listening to them, that they feel that they can express their feelings in an informed situation. Also, they're being given a lot of incentives. So the true test will be, upon completion of this 8-week program, to compare their attendance, what it was prior to this program, and as a result of the 8-week sessions where they're learning different strategies to see if their attendance is improving. So far it's been very successful, and we have about approximately 15 sophomores participating in this program.
I think Mr. Ranella is going to
Mr.
speak to
Ranella.
behind you.